Hello, hello. What's up, everyone? Hope you're all having a great week. Welcome back to another evening with Eskel. We're on episode 76, I believe. 76 weeks of consistently going live. So we're like 3/4. Yeah, we're past the 3/4 goal mark of my goal of 100 lives. I'm super excited about that. I've been pretty impressed. I'm super excited about it. I think it's awesome that I've been able to go live consistently every single week. And it's so cool that so many of you guys have been consistently watching these lives. I think it's awesome when I get to recognize you guys' names and get used to, who's participating in the discussion, who's commenting, I think that's what makes it so much fun. So thanks for being here, you guys. You guys are awesome. Speaking of all of you guys, let's see who are the first ones to comment here. We already got Meeting Megan. What's up? Welcome. Thanks for joining in the discussion. Just keep going. Hello, happy, handsome Eskel. Aw, thank you. What's up, Melanie, Taylor, Kyle Grant in the house. How's it going? What's up, Caitlin, Sarah, Mark, Sally girl. How's it going? I still got to respond to your Patreon message. Sorry, it's been taking me a while. Usually Patreon messages is one of the ones I get to the fastest, but this week I've been on Instagram a lot. I have quite a few Instagram questions or Instagram DMs, and some of them had some good questions in that I wanted to talk about in the live today. So I'm excited for that. Oh, what's up, Anthony? Hello, sorry, just come in from night out with the sisters. Is she drunk? Haha. Well, it sounds like you had some fun. What time is it over there? I know it's always super late when you're on here. That's why I'm so impressed. Anthony is, I think it's like 3 or 4 in the morning over there, and he still joins these lives. Like, that is so wild. But thanks for joining, guys. I'm excited. It's been, wow. Yeah, 76 weeks of consistently talking about escaping a cult mindset, noticing, cult trends and just so many restrictive environments. I think it's so wild. Growing up in a cult, it makes me think of how, common that cult mindset is in a lot of people and a lot of organizations and things like that. So it's been really fascinating being able to talk with you guys every week, being able to see your guys' examples. Like, some of you guys were not even raised in religious environments at all, and you can still 100% relate to this cult-like mindset. There's so many things that it relates to, and one that we talk about all the time is toxic relationships, or abusive relationships. There's so many similar things that are, can be applied to many different situations. And so I think it's been wild. And it's just been, for me, it's been a great learning experience with you guys. And it's also been so good for me. Like I said, a big goal of mine is to have 100 lives consistently every single week. And we're at 76. So we're getting so close to it. And I'm excited. I think it's awesome setting goals. It kind of makes me think of like when I was younger. It's different though, because tell me if you guys have ever felt this way, but it feels like the older I get, the more that my goals are very much like have this higher expectation, whenever I set goals or want to accomplish things. Since I'm so much older, then it's just not the same. Like when I was young, it was almost like having that hope in something was enough. Like it didn't feel like you needed much more. Whether you actually accomplished the goal or not, it was such a big deal to get excited for the goal or have something you wanted to do and to create a passion for something and just work towards it. And so long as you put effort into it, you got this satisfaction that was enough, But lately it's been feeling so much like, man, I'm at that age where it's I know it's not really, but there's this unrealistic expectation that so many people have of, you're supposed to have your life together at a certain age. You're supposed to, figure out how things work and how actually accomplish a lot of these goals that you're setting. And, there's so many that I haven't done yet. And there's so many that I'm still working on that it feels so different. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys have felt a similar experience, but I've kind of found myself keeping a lot of my goals recently to myself, not being super open about them, talking to like the specifics about them, because there's so much of like this expectation, I guess, from a lot of people. It's been kind of interesting, but it's still it's been a good learning experience for sure. I don't regret it or anything. I don't think that I have to keep it to myself. Lately I've been trying to work on things more in silence and just stay more focused, but let's see what you guys are talking about. I love how we can support you and watch your transformation into the outsider. So happy and proud of you. Yeah, I think it's really cool. It's awesome being able to document it, but the hard thing is, just like I talked about being in the documentary, Escaping Polygamy, it's awesome to be able to have that real life, week by week or day by day, true interaction, like live in the moment. But the difficult part about that is that there's this social connotation, how that like life has to be a certain way, and you're supposed to go through this hard time and then you're supposed to get out of it, and then things are supposed to be a happily ever after almost, but in reality, then that happily ever after is oftentimes in like spurs of the moment, like it comes and it goes. Life is way more, instead of it being like this trajectory of it, like, getting to a point in your life where it's really hard and then you go on this uphill incline and eventually get to this overall happiness. It's really way more of a roller coaster, It's not that Disneyland fairy tale. It has its ups and downs, and when I'm going live every week and constantly filming these new things that I'm learning, new things that I'm trying in my life, then, it's hard to display the difficult and the low lows, because I feel like nobody really wants to share those, but it's a part of life. It's inevitable. And so I kind of feel like, not that I have to, but I feel like there can be some good from sharing that, but it's still difficult. It's definitely hard, especially when, I have all of my cousins, a whole group, a whole organization of people that are kind of like looking for things to point at me about, or looking for ways to make fun of me and stuff like that. I think that makes it extra hard, because I'm just trying to be authentic. I'm trying to be open and share the good and the bad. But every time I talk about anything bad, that kind of gives them something to like use against me, or to like point out as a bad example or something like that. So it's been kind of interesting, but I've gotten so much better at just ignoring them. I feel like if someone is just purely looking for all your faults and completely ignoring all the good experiences and all the good that's coming out of your life, then that's just toxicity, that's not going to help anyone. So I've definitely gotten a lot better at just ignoring that and not letting that be the focus at all. But what's up, Todd? How's it going? Todd says, hey, Eskel, all won't be here long because I'm going to dinner. I know. Yeah, I definitely have not been super consistent on my lives, but at least I've still been doing my lives every week. So once I get things more organized, I can hopefully have my lives be more consistent. But for now, my biggest goal is just go live every single week without fail. So I've barely been able to do that. So until I can get that a lot more organized and actually planned out better, then I can start working on improving it and making better goals. So what's up, Taylor? Alea Martinez, hello. Anthony says, my boy Eskel has gone through so much, so my way of supporting him is being online for his lives where I can. Aw, thank you. This boy will meet when I go to Utah or Idaho to see my friends and fam. Legend. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I'm trying to plan more meetups. I'm in Seattle, Washington right now, so I think I've been surprised at how many people are here. I used to think Salt Lake City was big and packed with people, but compared to here, it's not the same at all. There's so many people here. It's wild. Meeting Megan says, yep, life is definitely a roller coaster. Yeah. And I think that's, the the fact that life has so many ups and downs, I think makes it more exciting. And so it can be a good thing. There's many times though when I step back and I'm like, the hard moments are annoying because it's, for some reason, when you're in that sad or like, I don't want to say depressive feel, but like, whatever that feeling of sadness is, when you're in that moment, it's so damn hard to just be sensible, to be logical and understand that like you've had these low moments so many times that it's obvious and it's inevitable that it's going to get better. And we all know that. It goes up and it goes down, and once it's down, there's only one direction it can go. But for some reason, every fucking time that you are in that low and that super sad part of life, it's like your brain just says, screw the rest of the world. Like, it forgets about everything. It forgets about all of your happy moments and the just basic, obvious reality of the fact that it's going to go right back to being better. It will. But for some reason, that part of your brain is just like, nope, there is only sadness. It's like, man, oh my goodness. It's just weird. So crazy how your brain, it's got to be some biological feature or something, because I can, I've even written down in my journal and like tried to like put up motivational posters or things to like constantly remind me, it's like you're going to have these bad times, but you need things to constantly remember that the good is going to come, so that you can understand and embrace those sad moments without having to feel like that's going to be your eternity. And for some reason, in those moments, it feels like it's going to last way longer than it ever does. And it just feels like it's so much worse than it actually is. And so I personally am one that needs constant reminders all the time, because it always gets better. And then it's funny though, because I'll start feeling so much better and like things will be going great in my life and I'll feel so good, and then I'll completely forget about how hard life can be and how sad it can be. And it's just funny how it's almost like, it makes me think of those traumatizing moments, how a lot of childhood trauma can be kind of like almost like forgotten in a way, or at least like put away and like stored away, so you don't really ever like think about them again and stuff like that. Or sometimes you envision them differently than what actually happened because of how traumatizing it was. And it's like, I feel like in a micro way that also happens with just like semi-sad things, like it doesn't really matter how sad or how hard things are. Like your body is trained, or your mind has this, defense mechanism to make sure that is like the biggest thing you focus on in that moment. But then the moment you've moved on from that, you like almost forget about it. And you don't forget about it because you can still think back to it, but it's like, it just seems so far away when you're happy, or when you're sad, then the happy moment seems so far away. And it's just crazy how that is, because it happens so much. At my age now, I'm like, I know for a fact it's always going to get better. It always has. I have so much evidence and personal experience to know this, yet I still in the moment struggle with knowing that it's going to get better, It's just so weird. Life's crazy, guys. Just keep going says, I have had to relearn to walk 4 times from my neuromuscular disease. I just have to take pride in the fact I'm strong enough to keep coming out the other side. I'm not sad. I have a hard life. I level up. Yeah, that's so cool. See, that's such a positive outlook on life. I love that. It makes me think of that TikTok. There's this viral TikTok that's going around where this girl's talking about her brother and saying like, oh, he suffers with this disability. And he's like, what? I don't suffer. I just have it. And it's like, he has such a positive outlook on it that you just can't help but feel so good about life. When someone's that excited and positive and just loving life, it just makes everyone around them happier. I think it's really cool. I love that. Susan says, I agree with you, Eskel. You do awesome. Please don't listen to them. You show good and bad. Glad I made a live. Just enjoying summer sun and warmth. Aw, thanks, Susan. Yeah, I think because I really have thought about this. I'm like, because my long-term goal is to be able to do social media full time, right? I want to be able to create awesome content, create, fun TikToks and cool stories about these adventures that I go on and just share it all, find ways to document it and package it in really awesome, cool ways to share with you guys. And so many times I can't help but feel like I should probably just show the good, like nobody wants to know about all the sad aspects of life and know when I'm not doing good. I should just skip all of those and only show the awesome, good, amazing moments of life. But so many times I come back to the fact that it's like, well, then I'm either going to be postponing videos. I'm going to have some lives where I don't even go live, right? Because if I'm sad right at the time when I'm supposed to go live, then what am I going to do? I guess like if I really don't want anyone to know that I ever get sad, I'd have to postpone it. I'd have to, avoid a lot of these different videos that I'll be doing. And so a part of me is like, rather than constantly postpone it and push it off, I think it's okay to show and be vulnerable and like show all these aspects of your life, because the people that don't appreciate that are going to be ones that are like, living in this fantasy of their life that's not very realistic anyways. So I don't think it's going to be that beneficial. I think it's more worth it to be able to just be who I am. If all of us could just be true and genuine, and then we'll find the people that relate to that and will actually enjoy being around that. So then rather than me cultivating an audience of people that just like me only when I'm happy, but don't appreciate or don't, like me at all when I'm, not happy or maybe sad or something like that, then I'd rather, instead of trying to cultivate a group like that, I'd rather just stick to the ones that really will appreciate all aspects of life, and can find the good information or the good that can come from still having conversations when you're not in the best mindset. I think it's just like how at certain times the conversation that piques my curiosity is going to change based on my mood or what I've recently learned about or things that are just fascinating to me, right? And age plays a huge part. The older I get, the more I am like super fascinated in things like politics or the government or freedom of speech and free agency, There's a lot of things that when I was a kid or even just a young adult, I was way more like, who cares? If it doesn't affect me, I'm just going to do whatever I want, like whatever, Whereas it changes as you get older and the conversation can be more engaging and there's certain things that are really going to be your focus in that moment. So I think it's 100% okay to let you as a person and your conversation fluctuate depending on what is going on in your life, because that's just what life is. So I figured find ways to make that enjoyable and make that be able to work rather than constantly have to postpone and avoid sharing anything when I'm not as happy as can be, But anyways, that was a long tangent. Just keep going. Says, you and your siblings are so strong. I love listening to y'all's stories. Thank you. Sarah Lockhart says, Taylor Renee, I love studying psychology because the brain is such a weird place. Yeah. The cults to consciousness has been one that has really piqued my curiosity too. Along with Joe Rogan's podcast, I've had countless times watching both of those YouTube channels where I was just been like, why are we so weird? It's like the human mind and the human body is so complex and just all over the place that it's like it makes me swear that it is meant to be like that, like an organic growing thing. Like I feel like the way we're presented to life is like in schools or around groups of people that package the ideas of life in this comprehensible way, like with school. You're supposed to learn a subject, understand the way it works, and then memorize it, commit that to memory, and then live that as your life principles, right? But really, I feel like your mind is so complex and so ever-changing that it's like you kind of have to be okay with changing and with being like an organic thing that's constantly growing and questioning things and oftentimes unsure about things. I feel like right now in my life, I've never been the most like confused about stuff, because when I attached myself to a religious organization, I felt so much more of this, okay, at least I have an answer. At least I have, certain base ideas to just live by, and I don't have to create my own, right? But ever since I've been trying to explore on my own and kind of become more of my own person and figure out what I truly deep down myself believe without any other influences on me, it's been way more of like I'm kind of lost, but I also enjoy the feeling of almost like adventure, You might be going and exploring a place and you could in essence be lost, I suppose, but you chose to go there. You in essence chose to go and get a little bit lost and have fun with it and discover new things. Otherwise, you would have never found things that you didn't know existed because you weren't willing to go and get lost in it and figure things out, And so there is this excitement and this fun to this new step in my life that I'm going through, but it's also been very like, very like all over the place, I guess. Super crazy, but I've definitely enjoyed it. I think it's been really cool. It's made me completely change the whole idea on what is strange and what's not strange, though, because just talking to people, it doesn't matter who you go and talk to. You have a conversation with someone, just asking them, what are some of the strangest things you believe in? Then you eventually will find that you also believe in strange things. There's no other way around it. Like, there are always strange things about people that you kind of cultivated this belief in, and oftentimes don't even really know why. There's so many things that subconsciously I believe in, but don't know why I believe in them. And that's why I've been so, like, recently it's been such a big deal to me to take all of these strange beliefs and be okay. And it forces me to be more accepting as to why things are so strange, but have to actually break it down and figure out my why. Because it's no longer, I know for some things I kind of still have to, but for the most part, as often as I can, if I have a strange belief, the bigger question to me is why. And if I'm going to still believe in that, then I want to figure out my why for it. Otherwise, I have to start it over, or figure out something else, or just, I guess, be okay with not knowing. But yeah, it's been a wild ride for sure. But I'm just glad you guys are coming along with me. It's been every single week I have new crazy things that I've either experienced or thought of, things that I've never fully been able to wrap my mind around. And so I love sharing them with you guys. It's been really fun. And oh my goodness. So I've had many conversations about how strange beliefs are. People believe the world is flat. People believe we haven't landed on the moon. People now though, like it's also aliens. I don't know if you guys are keeping up to date on all these posts, but like essentially the government is like saying something along the lines of, I guess aliens might exist, or at least they found something that might prove some evidence to that. And a part of me, when I first heard that, got so excited because I want to believe that aliens are real. But now that the government's openly saying it, a part of me believes it less. Isn't that crazy? Like, for some reason, having the government say that they may have found things that could show evidence of aliens makes me think that they are pulling something, that something's off. And maybe it's just, I don't know. I don't like to think that I'm biased against the government, but I do have my reasons for trusting them less, I guess. I don't know. But one thing that I thought could totally justify, or like that makes a lot of sense to me, is that if there's something really big going on in politics, which I do need to do. I've been more fascinated by politics recently, but I need to do more research. I need to get more involved with it. Even though I don't like it, it just seems like a whole bunch of like being mean to each other, and politicians tend to like point out all the flaws in other people, and just kind of like, it's this big old angry battle between people all the time. But, I can't help but feel like maybe the government is sharing this crazy wild news of potential aliens being found because there's something else happening that they don't want to be on the main focus, right? They want aliens to be the main headline and not whatever else might be going on. And then watch, maybe if that is the case, then it would make sense that, you know, in a few months or whatever, they would eventually be like, oh, we thought it was aliens, but it wasn't. They'd have to eventually clean up this whole alien fiasco. But like, maybe that's easier to clean up than whatever's going on right now, you know? Sorry, I don't have a ton of information on that, but I've just been thinking about that a lot lately. Woo, so many comments. Let's see here. Taylor says, Eskel, I think adulthood is just eternal confusion. Yeah, I think if one was to accept that, they would probably enjoy adulthood a lot more, because I still have the belief that you can organize your life. You can create a belief system that can make life the least complicated as possible, right? And I don't see anything wrong with that, but you're going to have a lot of beliefs that are kind of just put there just to simplify your life, not actually have any evidence to back them, right? And I can totally understand why people would do that. I'm oftentimes tempted to do that because life's so crazy and chaotic and confusing that if I just put certain beliefs in there, it might make it a little more simple and make me sleep at night a little better. But I also feel like it can be fun. You can enjoy that aspect of life of the unknown. You don't always have to have answers for everything, and that's okay. Just keep going says, I love animals more than I like people. I really like good people, LOL. So heck yeah, I want to see the kitty. You guys talking about cats here now? I don't have Rachel's dog with me this time to show it off, or else I'd have her come say hi to you guys. Oh, this looks like a good comment. Oh, this is a long one. Let's see. It's like people who claim the zombie apocalypse is coming. Yeah. That's another one, because, like, of course I don't want a real zombie apocalypse to happen, but I really enjoy watching The Walking Dead. It's so fixating to me, and apparently it is to a lot of people, because I watch The Walking Dead and my mind gets so, I hate it. It has so much fun thinking of all the possibilities of what might happen, thinking of what evidence I have and reasoning I would give myself or give to people why I might be able to do well in a zombie apocalypse, how I could survive it, or what types of plans I would make, or how I could prepare for it, and all these things. And then watching them play it out and think about, okay, what would I do differently? Or like they'll do something in one of the episodes that you're just like, whoa, I would have never thought of that. That is so cool. And so The Walking Dead or zombie apocalypse shows are always so fun to me. It's interesting. I feel like that's a natural instinct of the human mind to be like, to prepare for survival. You know, we are literally bred to find ways to survive, to actually have our survival be one of our top priorities. And so I think movies like The Walking Dead or like survival things really pique our interest, because our body is trained to want to learn that stuff and want to, you know, survive through anything. So they can be a lot of fun for sure. But see, that's just in my head. If a real zombie apocalypse broke out, I might be the first one dead, you know. So that doesn't sound too fun, but it's fun to think about. Just keep going says, haha, we live in Mississippi. It's hot AF right now. Do I give them frozen chicken, beef, or pork? Oh, your cats? Cats seem like they can eat all sorts of things. I saw this fact on Google that was saying that cats are the cause of, I think, like 30 or so different small species going extinct, because cats, I guess, ate them all up or something. Daniel says, what's next? The government telling us we need to get ready for the zombie apocalypse? Who knows? Let's see what's coming next. See, that's why this can be so fun and interesting to watch how it plays out, because it's just a guess of mine. But like, if they were trying to hide something and they they're announcing this alien thing just to have a cover up for whatever they're really plotting, then in a few months they would have to correct their whole alien fiasco thing, right? So if they never correct it and then more and more evidence starts coming about aliens' existence, I'd be a little more willing to like start believing into it, or look into what evidence they're presenting. But then another part of me would still think maybe whatever they're trying to cover up is still lasting longer or getting bigger and bigger, so they need to keep shoving this to the front. But eventually it's inevitable. They're going to have to we're going to find out that their claims of possible aliens are going to have to be fact checked and either confirmed, or eventually it'll be figured out that they were just lying about it, or that was just something they were using for what I would think to cover something up. Christina says, hi everyone, how's it going? A good gift for zombie lovers is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Ooh, do they teach you how to survive there? Agreed. I love Johnny Cash's music as well. Nice. Wow, zombies totally am watching The Walking Dead right now, LOL. No way. Are you really, Vanessa? That would be so funny. The Walking Dead is very popular, though. I was shocked how much I was able to watch of it. I got through, like, at least the first 3 seasons around, like, the Halloween season. I think those movies are extra fun when it's the spooky season. Oh my goodness, Just Keep Going says, I got breeding pair of chickens and an incubator. I need a solar generator to run it, but we'd have protein, LOL. Yeah, that makes me think of Cammie. My sister Cammie is the most like Western out of all of us. I think Amanda, Rachel, and I are all very much city people, but Cammie loves the idea of trying to figure out how to buy her plot of land and then create everything she needs for survival on that land, which is smart. I gotta give her credit for that, because if we fall into another Great Depression, or even just have a recession that's really damaging on a lot of people, then having a self-sufficient land is going to be exactly what everybody wants. That's going to become one of the most valuable things, right? So if she's working on getting that now, when people might not see it as super valuable, because you can just get anything you want in the grocery store. There's so many things that people kind of like, I don't want to say take for granted, because it's been at least multiple lifetimes, right? It's probably, I don't know how long it's been since the last recession or like a Great Depression and things like that. But at least for all of my lifetime, there's never once been a time where you couldn't go to Walmart or go to a grocery store and, find the essential basics to survive. But just like the pandemic, I mean, I still think they had this stuff, but because of the restrictions that you couldn't go out of your house and things like that, it made it extra difficult to buy stuff. And to me, that really opened my eyes to, like, if something crazy happens, you won't have such easy access to everything. You won't have that Amazon Prime where you can just literally click a button and just have almost whatever you want, at least the basic needs of survival. Sure, you probably can't just get like, an airplane or like crazy stuff, but like all of the basic needs to survive, you can literally click a button on Amazon or on Walmart's website and have it at your door, so fast. And there's so many stores, easy access, that's got unlimited options for things that you want. But the moment that that's taken away from us, so many people are going to go crazy, because like me, I'm one of the ones that my entire life has never, ever, we've never been through a depression in my lifetime that has been so bad that you can't find a place to get the things that you need, right? And so it's going to be extra, extra hard on the people that have never learned how to, garden, or never learned how to raise chickens, or to know how to shift into that more of a survival mindset. Like I think this is the perfect example. My very first thought when I watched The Walking Dead, I remember thinking like, okay, if I had to go through The Walking Dead, I would just bunker down inside of a Costco. Because in my head, the biggest resource of supplies and all this, massive amounts of way more things than you could ever actually eat or ever actually go through is Costco. That's what it is in my head. But it's like, obviously, if Costco itself can't create the stuff, then you're screwed. Everyone's going to be trying to take from Costco, Like, that is not a long-term sufficient actual survival tactic. You really have to be able to create stuff. You can't just try and hold on to a bunch of cans and live off of just cans forever. I feel like you've got to be able to actually create things to survive off of. Otherwise, you're just postponing your death. You might be able to live a little longer, or have your storage food for a little bit. But if you can't create anything, you're in trouble for sure. Let's see. Just keep going. Says, get it, Cammy. I like being support. I don't want to make a name for myself, but I enjoy being part of others achieving big dreams. I like the slowed down life of homesteading. Yeah, I totally understand. I feel like I watched a lot of these like Western movies, or like these old fashioned, like the one that came out not too long ago about the girl that wrote a book. Oh my goodness. There was this love triangle, and the guy's name was Lori. I remember that. The lady movie. What was it called? Mrs. Lady? No. The girl that wrote a book, and she was in love with this guy named Lori, but he ended up marrying her sister, and it like broke her heart, but she in the end was okay with being single because she wanted to be the strong, independent woman. Why can't I think of the name of this? Man, I've talked about this movie so many times. Little Women. Yes, thank you, Vanessa. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Heck yeah. Yeah, Little Women. I watched Little Women, and I could not help but think like, wow, they live like, they live on a bunch of farmland. They farm their own stuff. They're like super old fashioned, but it like looked so relaxing, like it just seems like that would be way less stressful. Like, there's not a lot of hustle bustle. There's not so much going on. It's so just like relaxed and peaceful. And so I totally understand why that's something that a lot of people want. And I think it could be really fun. I feel like the only reason why I even consider myself a city person is because of my, young enthusiasm and energy that I have right now. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be a city person forever, but right now my love for the city is just the fact that it's like there's so many places close by. Like I want to join a sports team, find some rec center. There's dozens of them all around me. I can go play sports wherever I want. I can go, find all sorts of different either arcades or bowling alleys or places to go play golf, or like so many different things to do, so many different groups to go and join, just be a part of, so many events that I can put on and have lots of people close by there and to just be a part of, And I think while I have lots of energy, while I'm young and excited for that kind of stuff, I think that is what stimulates me right now the most. But I do think as I get older and as I'm less all about, worrying about FOMO. I think FOMO is a big issue a lot of people have, that you don't need to care if you're going to miss out on, a few things, but a lot of us do. And when you're close to it, when you're in the city, it's so easy to go and get to everything because you're right there. But if you have to travel really far, you have lots of friends and people that are just super far apart, it makes it way harder. You have to be way more selective about what events you can go to. So it's very different. Christina says, Eskel, you have guns in your country. They would be trying to break in and they would not care who is in their way. Oh yeah. America, it's tough because a part of me is like, America would probably be in a lot of trouble if, a Great Depression hit or like a zombie apocalypse broke out. But I do think a lot of Americans would be extremely prepared to fight, to at least like stand their ground and at least try, to fight back at something. But of course, that's not going to be helpful in a Great Depression, because if it's, limited supplies, if the issue is the economy falling apart, guns isn't going to do much. But if it's an actual, like bats fighting or taking over the world, or zombies, killing people, then of course weapons are I feel like would be super helpful. But I don't see how that's going to help at all if it's just some sort of a recession or Great Depression. If anything, guns could make it worse, because, when people get desperate, then they kind of do wild things. I think that's when they can go into a survival mode and cause even more problems a lot of the times. But so it's tough. It's definitely, there's no perfect answer. That I don't think there's any one answer that could just, be the answer to help all of those problems. But Vanessa says the book is different than the movie for Little Women. Oh, I've never read the book. I wonder if the ending is different, because I did feel a little bit incomplete from the movie's ending. I remember when the movie ended, I was like, they definitely left it a little bit hanging. Like, I was longing for more. And maybe they did that just so they could do a second movie or something. But I definitely felt like it needed a little more, needed something. But was it Meg in Little Women? Didn't you want to slap her in the face? She was just so perfect. If that's the main character of Little Women, then yeah, she's very inspiring, just because I think, I think in a crazy and hectic life, anyone would long for a type of, what's that called? Sophisticated, I guess. A sophisticated, organized, that kind of lifestyle that just feels so like calm and organized is how I would describe it. She's got such a way about her that she just kind of seems like she always knows what she needs to do. She's so good at preparing for everything that she's just excellent at whatever she does. It's like that quote where it's like, if you're going to do anything, do it 100, Don't split yourself too thin. Don't try to multitask too much. Like, she just seemed so sophisticated and so good at what she did decide to do. And I think, there's something nice about that. But there's many times though when I really try to put that into practice that I'm like, it gets a little bit too, what's it called? Too kind of like, I guess, repetitive, or dang it, I can't think of the right word, but it just starts to feel like way too much goes into doing the smallest things, and I think back in that day that really was the case. Like, can you imagine having to like have full course meals for everything, and they had like, all this etiquette planned out. They'd have to have all these ways that the meals would go. You had to know all the steps and expectations for how you're supposed to do everything, that it's like at that point I feel like you just would go crazy. You have so many things you have to do just to accomplish one little task you're trying to do. That would be, I don't know, that would drive me a little bit crazy. Because here's the thing, when my life gets too crazy and hectic, I love structure, and I start setting daily and nightly routines. I start writing out everything I need to do and have all these to-do lists. But then it usually only takes 3 days to a week of me following my routines, doing checklists every day, till I start feeling like I am so bored. Like, I gotta do something different. This is crazy. And I need creativity. I need some variety. And so that's when I start going back into just being spontaneous and just trying new things. And I have this constant cycle of just, getting my life organized and constantly working on being more on time and on point and have everything scheduled out. And then I go from there to just like, who cares? Let's just do this. Whatever I'm in the mood for, I'll do that at that time, and just go from there to there. And it's like, it's funny because I still get everything done. I really do. Because it's all about my priorities. My priorities don't change very much. I make sure that, I'm still working. I'm making sure I'm paying my bills, have an income. I'm taking care of my body, making sure I'm eating healthy, staying physical, going to the gym, things like that. Staying social, like making sure I'm still being there for my friends and my family. But it's just about like if I have a organized, planned out structure to doing those things, or if I'm just going from one thing to the next whenever I have time, because I still feel like it's the same 24 hours in a day. I still get to everything, but it'll be completely different. I'll finish my morning routine sometimes at around lunchtime, because I will have skipped stuff in the morning because I didn't feel like doing it, and I'll go and do my other stuff, or I'll just go straight to work or something, and then at lunchtime I'll take time to like do my reading or something that I've told myself I wanted to do. Or I'll, go to the gym at a little later at night or something like that. It'll be more all over the place, but I still generally get everything done. That's why I'm so okay with just being flexible with how I schedule things, for sure. But because at the end of the day, the big goal is to just accomplish the things that you are setting your mind towards, because otherwise you're not going to be able to achieve your goals. So you got to have your goals, you got to have the plan out to get there, but then it's up to you if you want to, assign a specific time to everything. And I've heard a lot of motivational speakers be like, you have to set a time and a date, otherwise it could take you years to finish stuff, And it's like, that's true for a lot of things, like, getting an education, setting a goal for, creating certain videos, making sure you have certain things out. But when it's just generic, about like, wanting to lose 10 pounds or wanting to eat healthier, when it's more generic, then I feel like, to me, it's not a big deal if you get it all done in like a week or a specific day, or if it takes you, a few days longer. To me, it's more of like, you got to know what your priorities are and make sure those are constantly at the front of your mind. That's what you're focused on, because then you'll constantly be reminding yourself of what's important. What are you spending your time on? Who are you spending your time with? And that overall, I think, is going to dramatically improve your life more than if you check off your morning routine at the exact same time every single day, But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the timing of doing stuff matters or doesn't matter, because I know that it does. For example, with sleep. Sleep is one thing that I'm very picky about, because I've had times in my life where my sleep is horrible and it's really hard for me to get my full 8 hours of sleep. But if I will just make sure I go to bed at the same consistent time, it's made a world of a difference. So to me, the time that I go to bed does matter a lot, because I don't know of any other way to get really good sleep. And so for me, that's one of the solutions. So it just depends. You got to find the things that work best for you. And talking to people is the best way to get advice or to learn of new things to try, but you're going to be different. So you always have to be willing to give it a try, for sure. Let's see here. The plan helps me feel productive. I need to visualize my day in percentages. Oh, that's interesting. What do you mean by percentages? I try to get as close to 100% as I can on the most days I can. The rhythm will stick eventually. You should explain a little bit more on that. Just keep going. Because percentages, I'm trying to think of because when I think of percentages, I'll wake up some days and I'll be like, wow, I'm only at like 80%. I am not at 100 because maybe I ate a bunch of food right before bed the last night, or I get to bed a little bit later than normal and I'm just not 100%. I feel like I'm just, tired all day, or like my body's sore or things like that. I didn't get to fully recover from my last workout or different things like that. And that's what I think of as percentages. My body throughout the day, usually starts out, if I get enough sleep, if I exercise the day before and had plenty of time to wind down and I get the amount of sleep I need, I usually wake up at 100%, right? And then I'm going throughout my day, all the things, and, it's slowly getting depleted. My energy levels go down. I don't want to think so much by the end of the day. I don't want to make as many decisions, and then I eventually got to go to bed and then hopefully reset at 100% the next day. But I never thought of breaking down my day into percentages. That seems kind of interesting, but could be cool. Meeting Megan says, I've never been good at goal planning. What? How do you work out what you want then, what you want to accomplish? Because to me, goal planning is huge. There's many times I will set all these goals And I mean, this part of it's probably not that good, but sometimes I won't actually do them. I'll like write down all these goals just purely for the fact that I can get my thoughts out onto something and visualize what matters to me. Why do I want this to be a goal? What are my goals in life, so that I can get this sense or this feeling of what am I going to become? What do I want to accomplish? Vanessa, wow. Thank you so much for the donation. That's such a big donation. I really appreciate that. Vanessa says, because you're just awesome, Eskel. Thanks, Vanessa. I really appreciate that. You're so nice. Who was it? It was Vanessa. What were we just talking about? Meeting Megan. I've never been good at goal setting. You definitely got to share more on that, Megan, because I think goal setting can be very empowering, but there's lots of ways to do it for sure. Christina, let's see what she had to say. Vanessa says, Christina, Amy was just annoying, OMG. Nice. It sounds like someone's having their own conversation in the chat. Christina says, during the pandemic, I had to plan my day. Otherwise, I went mad. I still do it, but I am less likely to stick to it. Yeah, I think planning is super good because like that. I feel like I do write out plans almost always. Whether I'm feeling spontaneous or not, then I love writing things out because even if I don't stick to it, it helps me to see how many of my priorities are being focused on, what actually matters to me in my life, and how my plans are going to help me to accomplish that, or help me to bring those to the forefront of my mind and my day and what I want to accomplish. So I like planning. I think that's great. And I don't think you have to stick to your plans. I think that is 100% okay not to stick to your plans, because your goal isn't just to check off a list and complete a list. That's not what your goal is. Your goal is constant self-improvement. You want to be able to find out what way your mind and your body works best to be able to be happy and healthy. That's what the overall goal is. So whether the checklist, is actually what one of the things that needs to be checked off to get you there isn't what matters the most. What matters the most is that you find out what matters to you and what priorities you have that you can actually set a sight on and have clarify what you are trying to become, what you're trying to work towards. I think that really does matter a lot. But let's see here. Just keep going. Says, if I only have 50% that day and I gave 50%, then I gave 100%. Okay, now I'm more confused. What? She says, okay, help me figure this out, you guys. If I only have 50% that day and I gave 50%, then I gave 100%. Oh, okay. So you're saying like how some days I wake up at 80%, I'm not 100% recuperated. So if you wake up at 80% or 50% in your example, and at least you gave that 80% of effort throughout the day, then you've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. Is that what you're saying? Because I could see that. I think that makes sense. You need to be able to adapt to what you are capable of doing that day. Because you can't always, just like I was saying at the beginning of this, you can't always wake up super happy and enthusiastic and ready to tackle the day. That's not always going to happen, but you still have to live life. No matter how hard of a day you might be having, no matter how sad you might be or how low of a low you're at, you still got to go to work. You still got to do things to, help your mental health and your physical health to keep on going, That's why I think the gym is so good. Even on your bad days. When you're having a bad day, going to the gym can completely 180 your day, 100%. And I personally experienced that firsthand, and it's been so good for me. But yeah. Anyways, Christina says, I had to plan my exercise in the UK. We could only go out for an hour. Whoa. The rest was so I know what I was going to do in the next hour. Yeah, see, when your time is limited, that makes it all the more important. But then when you take that and apply that to life, think about it. Oh, there was one statistic that broke down an average person's life to summers. And it was something like, you've got 70 summers in your lifetime. So don't waste a single summer. Because so many people will be like, there's that goal that oftentimes people have of, oh, this summer I'm going to get into shape, or this summer I want to, get that summer beach body that I've always wanted, or this summer I'm going to be healthy. But that also means there's lots of people that are like, oh, next summer is going to be my summer, or like, oh, maybe in a couple of summers I'll finally focus on these things, or get to that. But it's like, no, don't do that, you guys. It's so limited, it's going to go by so fast that it's like, if there's ever something that you are thinking of postponing, but you can do it now, then just do it now. I think, I think this is something countless people say all the time, but in the end, you will always think that life has gone by too quickly. So you got to see it as precious. You got to see it as valuable. So in that same way that you wouldn't want to postpone your plans or postpone these big goals of yours, then don't postpone, your physical health or the things that you want to accomplish. Just make it count, Yeah. Sorry, I completely lost my train of thought there, but yeah, whoever brought that up, though, that's a really good one. Thanks for sharing that in the comments. Time is precious, for sure. Just Keep Going says, feeding the livestock and watering the garden and fruit trees are 50% of my day. Doing clothes and dishes are like 10%, then cooking the meals. Livestock. I recently have been really enjoying videos about people just doing like really calm and like they have peaceful music playing of them just going throughout their farmland and just doing basic things like gardening, or like weeding their garden, or picking the fruit or the things out of their garden. And for some reason, just recently, I've been finding those videos so relaxing, and I just have been getting captivated by them. When in the past, I used to think they were so boring. Why would I want to watch someone work in a garden? Like, sometimes working in a garden can be fun if you're physically there and doing it, but recently, for some reason, something about my mind, I guess, enjoying seeing the harvest of the gardens and of the farmland and stuff has been really peaceful and fun to watch. I don't know why, but yeah, it's been cool. Vanessa says, Christina, what part of the UK? My cousin was studying abroad at King's College for a year. Whoa, King's College is a real thing? Kingsman. Wait, maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I watched the movie Kingsman, and I thought that it mentioned that college, but I didn't know it was a real thing. That's really cool. But anyways, she's been studying abroad at King's College for a year in 2021. She just started her master's program here in the States at UCLA. Ooh, that's really cool. Dang. VKBF. With my disability, my days are measured with spoon theory, unfortunately. Dang. Yeah, see, it's like, that's another thing. I want to interview people that, I love interviewing anyone. In fact, with my new job, I've been meeting people that I have been fascinated by. I really want to interview more people, but because of this new job that I have has been opening so many doors and providing new opportunities, it's been keeping me so busy. I haven't been doing a whole lot on just regular videos recently because of how busy I've been. But yeah, I think it can be a lot of fun to just go through and interview people and ask them about their life experiences. I watched an interview on this super old couple. Like, they had both just passed 100 years old, I think. I think the guy was 102 and the girl just turned 100 or something. And they were just interviewing them, asking questions, and it was really fascinating. Very interesting stuff for sure. But what else? Just Keep Going. Oh, I don't know why it's only showing me the donation now, but it's showing me that Just Keep Going donated. Thank you so much. I must have missed that earlier. Thank you. I really appreciate the donations, you guys. That's so awesome. Here we go. Let's see. Where were we? Vanessa says, I love winters, so I always count how many weekends do I get to go snowboarding. LOL. Oh, I love snowboarding. I think snowboarding is something that has been like, it's so exciting and fun, but it's extremely limited to how many, weekends you get to be able to go snowboarding. So that almost like, even that alone makes it so much more exciting and like precious to go snowboarding. It's almost like, that makes me think of how the fact that life is so short and limited, that makes it more precious, that makes it more exciting and almost more fun. It's kind of creepy and weird to think of it that way, but the fact that we do die makes the life that we live more worth living. Whoa, that is so crazy to think about. Dang. Wow. That is so true. Oh my gosh. Dang. But anyways, yeah, I love snowboarding. It's so exciting. It's that perfect adrenaline feel that I'm constantly seeking, because I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, or a lot of it, I don't know. But it's so cool, man. And yeah, you can't just go any weekend you want. It's limited to when there's snow, what area you're in, and how often they get snow and stuff like that. So it makes it really precious. Damn. That's wild, you guys. Oh, life is crazy. Life is so... I've just been having these moments a lot recently where it's like, it doesn't matter if you don't know exactly what's going on. It doesn't matter what people are saying. There's so many of the little aspects of life that just don't matter. It's like life is so precious. We just need to enjoy it. We need to fully embrace it, man. Dang. So wild. But that's also what makes talking about what we think happens after this life so interesting. Just like how talking about aliens, it's like if aliens existed, that would be so fascinating. Having them on a podcast, filming a video with them, just a conversation with them would be wild, so eye-opening, so interesting to see like how advanced their technology is, what their life is like, how they live, just things like that are just so fascinating. That's why the afterlife, I think, is so fascinating too, because the afterlife people, if it's real, then it would be so unique and so interesting to us. It would be fascinating to just have a discussion with someone from there. It'd be crazy. Dang. Anyways, enough getting into my feels. Kristen Burke, what is your new job? I work for a construction company now. I'm a project manager, and it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. I get to drive all around the city, go to different projects all over. It's been awesome. Christy Benton, just keep going. I have 4 dogs in total. 2 are full pit bulls and 1 pitty mix. All are rescued. I have 1 Shih Tzu. She's 16. Oh, cool. That's fun. Dogs are a lot of fun, but they can be a lot of work. I've dog sat for Rachel a few times now, and they take a lot of maintenance. Just keep going says, my life got more special when I left religion. I was raised evangelical, so I had my leg braces taken off in church to be healed by a miracle. I hated myself then. I love myself now that I don't feel. Dang. Yeah. I think, I was religious for so much of my life that I feel like I can relate to people. And I know that feeling of like, there is a sense of comfort from just telling yourself that whatever religion you're a part of is just right. And whatever they teach you is fact, and it's real, and you don't have to question it. I totally know and understand that there is a sense of comfort that comes from that, and it would be awesome, super nice to just know, right? But I, just like you, I feel like my life has been a lot more interesting and way more like, it's hard to say real, because, life is real no matter how you're living it. But it just had such a sense of authenticity that it's been fascinating. It's been so cool, and a lot less anxiety, I would say, because rather than being like, oh, is this my belief system? Is this something that I'm supposed to believe in with the religion that I'm in and stuff like that? It's more of like, do I believe that? All that I base my answers and my, conversations off of now is how I truly have come to find that answer, or find why I believe that way, And so it's been so much more of like, this is how I feel. This is what I think. And I might be wrong. I don't have an entire religion behind me anymore telling me that, oh, this is the way that it should be, and this is what's right, and this is what's wrong. Now it's just me. So I accept the fact that I'll probably get it wrong sometimes, but that's life. Because I'm not associated with a religion, I can be wrong, and I don't have a whole organization behind me that I'm letting down, that I'm misrepresenting. It's just me. I'm just figuring it out as I go. And that's been amazing. That's so exhilarating. It's been a completely different chapter in my life that I've never experienced before. And so far, it's been really awesome. So, Meeting Megan says, I missed your comment on my comment, was interrupted. I tried to find it, but no luck. I feel I have ideas about what I want, but life changes and creating goals just wasn't serving me. Oh, I see. Yeah, you got to mix it up, You got to try new things all the time, for sure. But that's life. And that's okay. Just because setting goals helps me a lot doesn't mean it's going to interpret that same way to everybody. So, sweet. Okay, I think we are pretty much at the end here. So I'm going to read the last two, the last few comments, and then we'll call it good. But of course, we'll be doing this next week, and I hope to see you all here again. And thanks so much for everyone that's been here. Let's see. Anthony says, oh, shoot. Let's see. Christina Burker. Congrats, Anthony, on your son. He is the future, so look to that. Aw. Anthony, did Anthony have a son? Or did his son just accomplish something? Or maybe I missed something. Vanessa says, Anthony, love him and always make him feel like his disability is a superpower and he is a special person, right? Aren't we all special people, man? I love that feeling of just feeling super good when someone just really appreciates you. Okay, I'm just going to share one last story before I finish because this made me feel so good. There was this old lady that knew that I worked in, tech support for Microsoft for a long time. So they kind of think that I'm some tech wizard, even though I'm not. I had to basically learn everything. But she was asking me, she was like, I can't get into my computer. Can you please help me? You know computer stuff. Can you please figure it out? So I'm like, okay, I can try. But I go to her computer. I'm like, okay, what's going on? She's like, I can't log in. My password's not working. And I'm like, oh, what? I can't hack into a computer. You got to know your password. So I asked her, what's your password? Let's try a few things. And eventually I got into her computer. And even I was like, whoa, okay, it worked. I got in. And she's like, wow, you're a wizard. She thought I was all magical, this crazy hacker and everything. And all I did was turned off caps lock and her password worked. So it was super easy, but they thought I was this magical wizard and everything. And it just felt so good. Moments like that are always so fun. I love it. And we need that more. It's even when just strangers are like, oh, I like your dog, or they're just open to talking to you and they're friendly and fun, then it's just so great. I love it. It's super awesome. And I feel like we all need that more in our lives for sure. But Just Keep Going says, congratulations, Anthony. Sending him good vibes. Grow strong, sweet baby boy. Aw. Anthony says, thanks, everyone. Luke is our light right now. Nice. Thank you so much, you guys. This has been awesome. It's definitely been a really fun live this week. So thanks to everyone who participated in the discussion, and I hope to see you all next week, and have a good one. See you guys. Bye.